Welcome to MCSE TV. Now guys, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock we take on Eintracht Frankfurt in the semi-final of the Europa League, leg 1 of 2. Now guys, it is the semi-final stage. This is so exciting. Like, we are actually in the semi-final of the Europa League. Like, what a journey it's been. Like, reflecting back on it, we saw some great football, really good games, and we've had some great results. We've actually excelled in this competition really well, unlike other cups and competitions. Like, I'm not saying we've been terrible in other competitions this season, but we've had a massive mixture of results, haven't we? I mean, obviously we didn't win any of the cups. We're not going to win the Premier League, so this is our only chance of silverware this season. So it's huge, you know. Like, if we beat Eintracht Frankfurt, overall, like, after the second leg, like, we're through to the final. Like, that is a massive deal. We need to take this seriously, which I'm sure the boys will. I think some Chelsea fans don't take this competition as seriously as they maybe would the Champions League as such, but I think it's a massive competition. Like, it's still like a European competition. Like, it's huge, it's so exciting. But yeah, like, we're getting there, you know. If we like get one piece of silverware this season, like, we're not doing all bad as people maybe make out, you know. I think some Chelsea fans that are saying Sarri out think it's a be all and end all, like how we've done this season. But if we get the Europa League, like, you can't really complain, can you? Well, maybe you can about some of the games, but still. So yeah, so as I said, it's going to be very, very challenging. It's going to be a really tough game. Obviously, Eintracht Frankfurt have got some great players, a lot of talent. And at the end of the day, we've both got to this stage. Like, maybe it's been different routes to the semi-final, maybe it's been easier for one team and harder for the other, depending on what teams you've played. But it's still both got to a semi-final. A semi-final's a semi-final. You've both earned your place to be there. You've both worked hard. So anything can happen, you know. Obviously, well, no, I don't really want to say this because obviously, like, every team's different and unique, but in a way we are kind of level with them, reflected on the bigger scale. We're obviously have the English Premier League and they have the Bundesliga in Germany. They're sitting fourth in the Bundesliga and we're sitting fourth in the Premier League. So obviously, if you don't know much about Eintracht Frankfurt, which I don't, I've been doing a bit of research, you'll find that we're actually level in like our leagues in our different countries. So again, this may be not that much separating us that way. So very similar teams like that. So as I said, it's going to be challenging and they'll just be on level with us, you know. Like, how do I say this without being rude? In the Europa League, we've played some teams that haven't maybe necessarily been as good as us. No disrespect to them, like, we've been thrashing teams just because maybe they don't have as good as players or talent or anything like that. There's many factors. So as I've said, we're kind of coming up against a team now that mirrors us, and that's when we struggle. I mean, let's take Manchester United for example. At the weekend, they're quite similar to us at the moment and how they're playing, and we've got a draw. So that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, it's going to be difficult. Obviously, the boys haven't had that much time to prepare for this game. They're going to be really tired. Obviously, right, they trained this morning at Cobham. They flew out to Germany this afternoon in preparation for tomorrow night's games. It's going to be difficult for them. Like, we played on Sunday against Manchester United. That's not many days to prepare for the game at all. So they're going to be shattered, you know. And obviously, I'm sure Sarri will go over a very strong team. Tomorrow night, so we'll be seeing players that played on Sunday as well, so that are going to be shattered. However, I feel as we've got one advantage in this situation. Obviously, we're playing away tomorrow night, which is difficult for us because obviously we're going to be tired after United. However, the second leg of this the second leg at Stamford Bridge, is a home game, you know. Like, we've got a bit of an advantage there. Like, we get to play at home for that second leg, and I think that's important. No matter what the result is, like, hopefully it'll be good at that point when we actually do go back to Stamford Bridge. But nevertheless, it's still going to be difficult, you know. But as I said, that could be one advantage if you look at it that way, because as I said, we get to play at home. So it means that we have the home support. I remember when we were watching when I was watching a game in the Champions League, I think it was either against PSG or Atletico Madrid, and Denver Bar scored a last minute winner, and it helped being at home for the second leg. Like it really does have an impact. I remember watching an interview from Eden Hazard from the weekend, and he said it helps being at home, playing at home. Of course it does, you've got the home support. So obviously second leg, I think that's good that we're playing at home. You know, I think I'd rather get the away leg of this tie out the way first, which we're doing. So it might have been easier if it was at home, because obviously the fixtures have been tough for us recently, but nevertheless I still think it'll work better our way like that. So the players who travelled today out to Germany were Kepa, Cabello, Jamie Cumming, Christiansen, Azpilicueta, Luiz, Alonso, Palmieri, Zappacosta, Jorginho, Kante, Barkley, Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Hazard, Pedro, Willian, Giroud and Higuain. So yeah, that was the players that travelled. Obviously we have got some injuries. Obviously Rudiger is injured, and that'll make a massive difference and impact to our team, I think. Ethan Ampadu is also injured, Gary Cahill's injured, so we don't have any backup options for defence, which is quite worrying, you know, unless if, for example, we do get any injuries tomorrow night in the back line, like obviously Azpilicueta might have to move over, and we've only got Emerson and Alonso, so like one of them would have to come on, whichever player wasn't playing, if there was any issues, which you've got to consider, because you might not think it's going to happen. You might think, oh, we can't get any more injuries, but we've been very injury prone recently. Like, we've been getting a lot of injuries, so yes, fingers crossed it goes our way tomorrow night. Now guys, I'm going to run you through my predicted starting 11 for tomorrow night's game. So I'm going for Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, Luiz, Christiansen and Emerson in defence. Now Alonso's been playing well recently. He has featured in some Europa League games. He obviously scored against United at the weekend, but I still think that Alonso will be tired, and I just don't think it might go his way tomorrow night. Like, he's doing okay at the moment, leave it at that, because I think if he plays tomorrow night and doesn't have a good performance, the fans will be on his back again. After United, obviously he did really well, and I just don't think it would go his way if he played tomorrow night. Now, I might be wrong, and I honestly do think Sarri will play him, but I'd give Emerson the game time and play him tomorrow. In defensive midfield, I would give the positions to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Barkley and Kante, obviously. But yeah, I think that would work. I don't think it's necessarily 100% been working when Kovacic and Jorginho have been playing together in defensive midfield. It's maybe a bit harsh dropping both of them tomorrow night, but they could always come on as substitutions. They'll be tired at the moment. So yeah, I'd go Barkley, Kante and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. In midfield, I would go with Eden Hazard and Willian. And then I'd go with Giroud up front. Now, the reason why I have gone with Willian instead of Pedro, and obviously Callum Sumter is injured, but the reason why I've gone with Willian is because he's been playing great in the Europa League, hasn't he? He's been sensational, so yeah. And then Giroud up front, again, been scoring a lot of goals in this competition, been doing really well. So yeah, that's my predicted starting 11. Now guys, I'm going to run you through some of the things that Sarri said in his press conference. So Sarri says Gary Cahill has an injury problem, and that is why he's not travelled. He hopes to have him back in a week, as he has problems at centre-back with Tony Rudiger out for at least 3 months following surgery. So yes, that's a massive hit for us. As I said, Antonio Rudiger's injured and he's going to be out for a while, along with Callum Hudson-Odoi. Obviously they're playing different positions, but it's an issue. Gary Cahill though hasn't been playing as much, at all really, but he is that backup option if we need it. But obviously not now, he has an injury, but he would have been a potential backup option, so that creates an issue for us. Sarri believes Willian is okay to play tomorrow, having taken a heavy knock at Old Trafford on Sunday. That concerns me, because if Willian doesn't, if obviously Willian plays tomorrow, and then the knock-on effect of his injury gets worse, if he's not fully fit, then he could be out for longer. It's risking it. I mentioned that in my preview the other day. Do you risk a player? Obviously, We've got Leicester coming up, our last game of the season, etc. We've got a few games coming up, so do we risk players like that? If they're not fully fit, do we go with Pedro? Now, I know I've put Willian in my predicted starting 11, but do we go with Pedro instead? It's a bit like Rudiger when he got injured at the weekend. Like, that's maybe had a knock-on effect. Maybe he wasn't fully fit when he started. It is an issue. The boss says Christiansen is ready to play, and he hopes he will be very mentally and physically fresh. I am really very confident in Andreas, he said. He has played some very important matches very well. Sarri says he's got a lot of respect for Frankfurt, Eintracht Frankfurt. They have a very dynamic team with great intensity. They are very dangerous at home and away. It will be difficult for us to get to the final. So yeah, even though I said that we do have the home advantage, they were good away from home, but nevertheless I stick by what I said. Cesar Azpilicueta begins by wishing his international teammate Casillas a good recovery. He says he's been told the goalkeeper is doing well and improving. So obviously Azpilicueta come to the press conference today as well. Cesar says Chelsea start every season going for trophies. Now we have arrived in a semi-final and winning the trophy is a priority. We have to be ready to compete over both legs against Eintracht Frankfurt. Cesar points out that the Europa League was his first trophy with Chelsea, so he has special memories of it. Although winning the Premier League is on another level, however, he's keen to win the Europa League for a second time. Cesar says Rudiger is an important player, so it is not good news to lose him. The players have sent Tony a special message, but Cesar is confident he will be back strong soon. Yeah, and that was all from the press conference. So yeah, stressful times, a lot of injuries, lots going on, but fingers crossed we can pull through. My score prediction for tomorrow night is going to be Eintracht Frankfurt 2, Chelsea 2. I'm going 2-2. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be a very tight, close-knit game. I'd expect, obviously, it to go more their way at home. Sometimes how it works out, not always. And then we'll finish the job off at home, fingers crossed. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below all your pre-match thoughts, your score predictions, and your team lineup. And guys, don't forget to tune in after the final whistle tomorrow, where I'll be bringing you my live, well, not my live stream, but I used to actually live stream match reviews and now, but I'll be bringing my match review straight after the game, so tune in for that, and fingers crossed I'm talking about winning our first leg up the Chelsea. Thanks.